The new iPhone 16 Pro is here. It's sexy, it's powerful, it has insane cameras, and a new button. What? More importantly, it's your gateway to a whole new world of AI. But should you upgrade? Hi, I'm MICHAELJOSH, your gadget matchmaker, and over the last decade, I've made it my job to show people around the world that tech can be easy, fun, and exciting. On this channel, I give you special access to the products I review, the events I attend, and all the interesting people I get to meet along the way. So, if you're in the market for a new iPhone, give this channel a like and subscribe, and I'll help you find the right iPhone to match your needs. This is our iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max review. I get it. The iPhone 16 Pro series looks the same, and naysayers are quick to jump on and say, there's really nothing new this year. But really, all you need is a little time, and you'll find that there is more to the iPhone 16 Pro series than meets the eye. Later in this video, we're going on a trip to test out battery performance and all the new cameras on the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max. But first, let's cover some of the basics. Ready? Let's do this. Over the years, Apple has slightly tweaked the look and feel of the iPhone, but has maintained its overall design. From rounded corners to flat and sharp, to still flat, but rounded off edges. Then last year, there was also the switch to titanium from stainless steel. This year though, the changes are very subtle. There's a new button over here called Camera Control, more on that later. Then there's a micro-blasted finish on the frame that gives it a smoother feel. And while the iPhone 16s get richer and bolder colors, the Pro series stays subtle yet elegant, with minor adjustments. White titanium is lighter, black titanium is darker, natural titanium is more or less the same, and blue titanium is gone, replaced by this year's new color, desert titanium, which is gold, but not quite, more like creamy with copper edges. In a way, it harkens back to the gold iPhone XS, albeit a bit more muted. Users in the US will notice that the millimeter wave antenna for Verizon's ultra-wideband is not where it used to be. Now, it's hidden under the back glass near the Apple logo. The rest of the changes are internal, like the use of next-gen ceramic shield, which Apple claims is 2 times tougher than glass found on any other smartphone. Tougher, by the way, means to durability when dropped. It does not mean scratch resistance. There's also a new internal enclosure design made of 100% aluminum, designed in such a way that makes it quicker and easier to repair. And while that's a big win for repairability, it does not bring down the cost of repairs. So if you want to be sure, make sure to use a case like this one from this video's sponsor, Casetify. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably heard of Casetify. They're on the Insta feeds of many famous celebrities. And it's not surprising given how many awesome prints and designs they come in. Of course, what good is an iPhone case if it isn't equally as protective as it is cute? And Casetify excels here also, offering a lineup of cases with different levels of military-grade protection, from their impact case, impact ring stand case, and bounce case. This year, they've even reimagined their ultra bounce case, now their most protective and most versatile case. They sent it to me in this gorgeous blue box, and immediately this ultra bounce utility strap that doubled as a ribbon piqued my interest. Inside was their new ultra bounce case in my favorite color, a perfect match for my new iPhone 16 Pro. These new ultra bounce cases have these shock-absorbing bumpers that can protect your iPhone from up to a 32.8 feet drop. That's as tall as a fully grown T-Rex. But notice, unlike last year's Ultra Bounce, the bumpers now stretch across the top of the phone. More on this functional change later. On the inside, it's got a new Tesla lock design to absorb and dissipate shock from drops and increase durability and longevity of the case too. It's got 6 layers of protection, including an integrated camera lens protector, so your camera doesn't get scratched up. Inside of my box was a complete set of accessories, including a bounce carabiner. and an Ultra Bounce utility strap. You know I love dressing up, so here are some of my favorite ways to style them. Let's start with the Ultra Utility Strap. On each end, you'll find clips. Just attach them here, and then I can wear it crossbody like so. Or take this part off and then hook this side through this loop and use it as a wristlet for times when I can't afford to drop my iPhone. Finally, with the Bounce Carabiner, I can also just attach it to my backpack like this. The possibilities are limited only by your imagination. If you'd like a Casetify case of your own, then I'm giving you 15% off your order. Just use my link, casetify.com/gadgetmatch. Moving on, Pro models get bigger displays this year, from 6.1 to 6.3 and 6.7 to 6.9 on the Pro and Pro Max respectively. That's mostly thanks to smaller bezels, and while we're at it, take a look at this awesome animated graphic from Kyle Halevi on Threads showing the slimming down of iPhone bezels over the years. Now, it's not just smaller bezels, the case or the frame of the iPhone has gotten a little bit larger too, just by a few millimeters. In the hands, it's not something you'd actually be able to notice, but if you had both phones side by side, you'll immediately see the size difference. The 16 Pro Max, for example, is definitely taller. Overall, display tech is mostly the same. You've got Dynamic Island, which some people actually called a gimmick when it was launched 2 years ago, but has become one of my favorite features on the iPhone. It's so useful to be able to see flight information or live Uber status without having to open up the app or abandoning whatever else you're doing. You get that always-on display that just dims when locked, so you can still see the time, or if you have notifications that need your attention. The same Pro-motion display, so it's buttery smooth 120 Hz when scrolling, but a more power-friendly 1 Hz when just on a static page. You got the same max peak brightness of 2000 nits when outdoors, and now a minimum brightness of 1 nit instead of 2, which doesn't seem like a lot, but makes a world of difference when the lights are out. While Apple has never really published battery sizes when it comes to the iPhones, eventual teardowns will reveal what they are. But in the meantime, Apple is promising that batteries in both the 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max are larger this year, which alongside a more power-efficient 3nm A18 Pro chip and better power management on iOS 18 just means significant battery improvements overall. Apple is promising up to 4 more hours of video playback on both models, and in our tests using both models this week, we definitely felt the improvement. So much so that I'm actually considering switching from the Pro Max to the Pro. I've always used the Pro Max because of its larger battery. Last year, with a switch to USB-C, Apple improved wired charging speeds on the iPhone 15 series, and this year, they're improving wireless charging. So now, using Apple's own MagSafe wireless charging puck, you can get up to 25 watts, which is an improvement over the previous 15 watts. The new iPhones also support the new Qi 2 standard, which improves wireless performance from 7.5 to 15 watts using any Qi 2 accessory. Just like last year, you can also use your iPhone to charge other devices, but at a slow 4.5 watt charge rate. So it's more to juice up your AirPods, maybe your Apple Watch, instead of powering up another iPhone, maybe at the very least to keep your friend's iPhone alive so that they can book an Uber home. The USB-C port also supports fast data transfers of up to 10 gigabits per second. Powering the new iPhone 16 series this year is the new A18 chip, which among other improvements include an upgraded neural engine that's optimized for Apple Intelligence. Pro models get a souped-up A18 Pro, which is the fastest CPU on a smartphone today. This Pro chip includes 1 extra GPU core, which enables that ProMotion display, 4K 120 video recording, and 2 times faster ray tracing. On my flight to London, I paired it with a backbone controller and caught up on some Resident Evil Biohazard and Assassin's Creed Mirage. And the iPhone 16 Pro took it like a champ with high frame rates. More AAA titles are promised soon, including Tencent's Honor of Kings World, which supports an ultra graphics mode. let's talk about cameras, and there are two important things for you to note. First, the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max have the same cameras, unlike last year where you had to get the Pro Max if you wanted that 5x zoom lens. Now, both phones have that 5x telephoto camera. Second, the other two cameras, ultra-wide and wide, feature all new sensors. That ultra-wide camera, by the way, also doubles as a macro lens with a focus distance of 2 centimeters. It's amazing for shots like this. Just careful not to get stung. While the wide camera doubles as a 2x optical lens for when you need to zoom in just a little bit. And to put all of this new camera hardware to the test, we went on a road trip. As promised, welcome to our road trip. I'm actually here with Chai and Alex, who's over there. We found ourselves in Staten Island, and before we go on the agenda for today, which is to visit a Hindu temple, we're actually grabbing some lunch at a place called Mezcal. Wait, I can do Shazam right here on my phone. Oye Mujer by Remix and Juanes. I love it. I'll send it to you on Apple Music. I ordered different kinds of tacos. That's shrimp, that's birria, that's pollo, and that is el pastor or something else, barbacoa. What did you get, Alex?
I got a taco, burrito, and a enchilada.
Yummy. So we've made it to our destination. It's too hard to pronounce, but it is the largest, second largest Hindu temple in the world, and it is second to the Angkor Wat. It's right there in the background. Let's go check it out. The camera feature that I'm most excited about this year is 4K 120, which basically means I can film 4K video at 120 frames per second. As a content creator on the go with sometimes not a lot of time to film, say, B-roll of phones, we will often just do a quick pan in 4K 120 and then slow down that footage in post. But I feel it's also great for Reels and TikToks. For example, here we shot video of Chai in 4K 120, and then after filming on the iPhone, we were able to dive in and select a specific frame rate to slow it down to. You can even pick the exact part in the clip where you want the slow-mo to be. In this case, I chose the part where Chai's dress was twirling in the wind. Another feature creators will appreciate is called audio mix. Pro models come with 4 studio quality microphones that, combined with new spatial audio capability, your iPhone is able to detect audio coming from your subjects and what is in the background, allowing you to select which audio you'd like to highlight after filming. In the keynote, they showed off how this might benefit filmmakers but as a creator who shoots outdoors a lot, I can also see how this will make it easier for me to capture great audio, even without a lapel microphone. Before we continue with our tour, let me just tell you about where we are today. I actually have a cheat sheet here because it's really hard to pronounce, but we're here at the Sri Swaminarayan. It's the largest Hindu temple outside of Asia, and it's located here in New Jersey. It was built by 12,500 volunteers, and it actually opened. In this example, you'll hear how the camera caught my friend Alex speaking in the background, and maybe if you listen closely, you could also hear some music playing. After filming, I can go in and select audio mix in frame, and then let's play that again. It's the largest Hindu temple outside of Asia, and it's located here in New Jersey. It was built by 12,500 volunteers, and it actually opened about 2 years ago. Notice how much better it sounds. Even that echo is removed, and you don't hear Alex anymore. And just in case you were wondering, that same audio mix feature is also available using the front camera on the iPhone 16 series. And just in case you were wondering, that same audio mix feature is also available using the front camera on the iPhone 16 series. If you recall, on the iPhone 13 series, we got something called photographic styles, which were like live filters. It was accessible via this button over here. The options were rich contrast, vibrant, warm, and cool. Now, as someone who's afraid of commitment, I didn't like using them because once I took a photo, I couldn't go back and change my mind after. Not only does the iPhone have a better understanding of skin undertones so that it can preserve the face of a subject, now there are plenty of styles to choose from. More importantly, if you change your mind, you can go in and edit that photo and change the photographic style after the fact, including altering the undertones. Speaking of undertones, as a creator who's lived in both Asia and North America, I've sometimes found it challenging to review camera smartphones, especially when a subject is concerned, because different people like different things. Some people like their faces to look more natural, others like to look lighter or darker. And now, Apple has a solution for that. If you dive into settings, camera, photographic styles, you can basically tell the iPhone how you'd like to look in photos. After you set it up, your iPhone will keep in mind your preferences, and you will always look the way you want to look. One of the biggest hardware changes to come to the iPhone is a new button right here, and it's called Camera Control. Now, Apple doesn't want to call it a button, and rightfully so, because it's more than that. Let's go over the tech a bit. We start with a sapphire crystal top layer. Underneath, a multi-pixel capacitive sensor and signal processor that recognizes touch gestures, like swiping. Underneath, there's a tactile switch that enables the click experience so that it feels like an actual button. And then finally, underneath, a force sensor that can identify a soft press and a hard press that's connected to the iPhone's Taptic engine, so everything you do receives haptic feedback. And because Camera Control is new, here's how it works. Click to launch the camera, click again to take a photo. You can press and hold to record a short video clip, and coming soon, just like on a regular camera, you can click and hold to focus. Now, here's where it gets exciting. With your finger on Camera Control, you can press down lightly to bring up zoom options. Then, using your fingers, you can swipe from side to zoom in and out. Press down twice to bring up other menu items like tone, styles, cameras, zoom, aperture, and exposure. Pressing down lightly again makes a selection, and then you're free to swipe to get exactly the photo that you want. My first time using Camera Control was at the Experience Zone right after the event, and initially I thought to myself, oh my god, this is going to take some getting used to, but actually the opposite is true. It's actually quite easy to pick up, and now my fingers know exactly what to do. I love that there's now a dedicated camera button for the iPhone, but what gets me more excited is that really, this is just the beginning. Apple is opening up Camera Control to other apps. For example, Snapchat integration is promised, and I'm curious how other apps will use it. On top of that, later this year, Apple is also launching visual intelligence. So with one press of a button, you can search the world using your phone's camera as your eyes. I know other companies have done something similar. Google, for example, has something called Circle to Search, but I like Apple's approach, having a dedicated button for it. For AI to really work, you need to be able to provide it with context, and that's being able to see the world around you. That can be achieved with something like smart glasses or wearable AI pins. But the best device is always going to be the device that you have on you all the time. Now let's talk about Apple Intelligence. If you noticed, I'm putting this towards the end of my video, even if there's so much hype surrounding it, because it's not necessarily a feature of the iPhone 16 series per se. Apple Intelligence is also coming to the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, as well as iPads and Macs running M1 chips and newer. Also, Apple Intelligence won't be available on the iPhone 16 when it launches on September 20th. It's actually coming later in October, with some features coming later this year and some in 2025. I've been running a preview on my iPhone 15 Pro Max, so let me show you what I love so far. Love it or hate it, Siri has been a big part of the Apple ecosystem for years, and with Apple Intelligence, it's gotten an upgrade. It looks different on the outside too. Now when you invoke Siri, your iPhone will glow with these red, orange, and purple lights. A visual cue that's consistent across the Apple Intelligence experience. Siri is more conversational and will understand you better even if you stumble on your words or if you change your mind mid-sentence. What time is it in Bangkok? I mean Manila.
In Manila, Philippines, it's 2:33 a.m.
We've long had the ability to erase objects from photos on Android phones, most popularly Magic Eraser on the Google Pixel. On the iPhone, it's called Cleanup. And I've got to tell you, the wait was worth it because the iPhone does an incredible job. Here's an example. Here's a photo of me and YouTuber Connor Franta. Unfortunately, there were a lot of people in the background. So all I have to do is hit Edit, Clean Up, and then the iPhone will suggest which objects it can delete from the photo. All I had to do was tap on them to erase, and in some areas where it didn't do that great a job, I just repeated the process so that I could make the lines on this wall line up properly. Here's the before and the after. What do you think? The best Apple Intelligence features, though, are still to come. There's Genmoji, which lets you enter prompts to create the perfect and most appropriate emoji to add to a message reply. Image Playground, which lets you generate the perfect image for a presentation or meme. And whenever you ask a question that relies on world knowledge, Siri can also pass on your inquiry to ChatGPT, and supposedly Google's Gemini is also in the works too. On a busy day, priority notifications are great so you don't miss the most important of all your messages. And then there's Siri's ability to understand your personal context and make in-app actions. For example, if someone sends you their address via a text message, you can just ask Siri to add that to that person's contact card. Eventually, I'll be able to ask Siri to send photos from last week's party to Chai, or maybe the book that I'm reading to Judy. With personal context, it will also be able to understand what's in my photos, calendar events, and info on files and emails and messages. So maybe I'm filling up a form online and need to enter my ID number. It can suggest it based on a photo of my driver's license. Or maybe I'm at an event, and this has happened a lot, like maybe I'm at IFA in Berlin and need to figure out where the party is tonight. I can ask Siri to give me that information based on emails and messages that I've already received. Currently, Apple Intelligence is only available when your language is set to US English, but localized English is coming to 5 countries in December, with 4 additional languages coming next year. So, are the iPhone 16 Pro or Pro Max your gadget match? Without a doubt, these are some of the best iPhones Apple has ever made. And this year, more than ever, I highly recommend picking one up, especially if you're in the market for one, because these phones are going to be your gateway into a world of Apple Intelligence. And while all the pieces might not be there just yet, and you might not see it now, I personally believe that this is going to revolutionize not just the iPhone, but smartphones in general. The iPhones have truly come of age, and a new era awaits. The iPhone 16 Pro and 16 Pro Max come with a Gadget Match seal of approval. The question now is, and it's a question I haven't really been able to answer just yet, should you go for the 16 Pro Max or the 16 Pro? Definitely get this one if you like a bigger screen, need bigger fonts, or want that bigger battery. I'm still a little bit torn because I kind of want to rock a smaller phone this year. And then the other question is, which color should you get? I definitely like the new color Desert Titanium, but this year I think I'm going to stick with Natural Titanium. A lot of folks are demanding for bolder colors when it comes to the Pro models, but I'm not really sure I want that. Even if I'd love a bright, vibrant blue Pro iPhone, I kind of do like the muted colors because it's more classy, it's more elegant, and for me at least, it goes with all my outfits. And that was our iPhone 16 Pro series review. Are you going to pick up one of these phones, or are you waiting for the iPhone 16? Well, I'm also working on an iPhone 16 review, and not to spoil it, but I think it's going to be a big year for the iPhone 16 as well. If you don't want to miss that video, make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel and hit that bell icon so that you get notified as soon as we upload. Follow me on social media for all the behind the scenes fun stuff, and for news and updates, make GadgetMatch.com your daily habit. Until the next video, I'm Michael Josh. Thanks for dropping by.